and Amy says she's joining us, and we're live.
Oh,
Welcome to another Not Mainstream on Groundhog Day. This is.
And by the way, yeah.
This is,
speaking of that, yes, Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow. So
yeah, so 6 more weeks of winter.
6 more weeks of winter, at least in some parts of the country. We'll probably be a little bit different down here because this is the South. And
yeah,
we usually get pretty warm.
We had a blizzard today
in February. Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So we had some at least 4 inches of snow. 4 inches of snow, and there's supposed to be even more snow coming up this weekend. So,
wow,
Punxsutawney Phil is not fake news, not fake news. But yeah, so this is Groundhog's Day, and man, it has Groundhog's Day lived up to its hype. I mean, you know, the Bill Murray movie, great movie, but today was even better because today. It was release the Memo Day. Hey, Amy.
Hey, Amy. Hey. How you doing?
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're doing.
Doing good.
Doing great.
How about you? What about you?
I'm good. I'm doing okay.
Good. It's good to hear. Good to hear.
Great to hear that.
Yeah.
And all right, we're live right now. I figured I'd start a little bit early because of the whole memo. The whole memo thing that happened today. Let's just go ahead and get right to it. Let's go ahead and start off with the memo because this is just huge. I mean, this has been the whole memo went on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and finally, after all these weeks, President Trump finally gave the authority to release it. And I read it, and I was like shocked by it. And what I'll do is I'll let me do a screen share, and I'll screen share it and read along so that you guys can follow along.
Cool.
And let's see here, present to everybody.
There we go.
All right. Okay, so let's see here. So this is the Nunes memo. And before we get started, this whole memo is being, let's just say the whole Democrat is just saying, the whole mainstream media is saying is that it's a nothing burger. It's a huge nothing burger.
Yeah, Paul Ryan came out and said something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. I mean,
I don't either.
I mean, in the memo, and just to do a brief summary before I start reading it, basically what it did was that the DNC and Hillary Clinton paid Fusion GPS to come up with some fake news about Trump so they can take that fake news, present it to the Obama administration so that the Obama administration can sign the FISA warrants so that they can wiretap Trump and his campaign. And that's basically what this memo states. Let's see here. Page 1.
I also
go ahead.
I put the memo up on our WordPress too with the link to for anybody that wants to read it as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
What I was going to say was I think it's funny that the left is saying that this is fake news.
Of course they would.
All right, so this is the cover letter of the memo. Basically written not by President Trump, but dictated, I guess, by President Trump. And this is from the desk of the White House, Washington, February 2nd, 2018. The Honorable Devin Nunes, Chairman, House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, United States Capitol, Washington, D.C., 205-15. Dear Mr. Chairman, on January 29th, 2018, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, hereinafter the committee, voted to disclose publicly a memorandum containing classified information prior to the committee in connection with its oversight activities. the memorandum, which is attached to this letter, as provided by Clause 11G of Rule X of the House of Representatives. The committee has forwarded this memorandum to the President based on its determination that the release of the memorandum would serve the public interest. The Constitution vests the President with the authority to protect national security secrets from disclosure. As the Supreme Court has recognized, it is the President's responsibility to classify, declassify, and control access of information bearing on our intelligence sources and methods and national defense. C.E.G. Department of Navy versus Agon 484 U.S. 518 527 1988. In order to facilitate appropriate congressional oversight, the executive branch may entrust classified information to the appropriate committee of Congress, as it has been done in connection with the committee's oversight activities here. The executive branch does so on the assumption that the committee will responsibly protect such classified information consistent with the laws of the United States. The committee has now determined that the release of the memorandum would be appropriate. The executive branch across administrations of both parties has worked to accommodate congressional requests to declassify specific materials in the public interest. However, public release of classified information by the unilateral action of the legislative branch is extremely rare and raises significant separation of powers concerns. Accordingly, the committee's request to release the memorandum is interpreted as a request for declassification pursuant to the President's authority. The President understands that the protection of our national security represents his highest obligation. Accordingly, he has directed lawyers and national security staff to assess the declassification request. Consistent with established standards governing on the handling of classified information, including those under Section 3.1d of Executive Order 1352-6. Those standards permit declassification when the public interest in disclosure outweighs any need to protect the information. The White House review process also include input from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and the Department of Justice. Consistent with this review and these standards, the President has determined that declassification of the memorandum is appropriate, based on the assessment in light of the significant public interest in the memorandum. The President has authorized the declassification of the memorandum. To be clear, the memorandum reflects the judgment of its congressional authors. The President understands that the oversight concerning matters related to the memorandum may be continuing, though the circumstances leading to the declassification, though the processes are extraordinary. The executive branch stands ready to work with Congress to accommodate oversight requests consistent with applicable standards and process, including the need to protect intelligence sources and methods. And that was written by Donald F. McGahn, the second counsel to the President. All right, so let's get into the good stuff, the actual memo. That was just a cover letter from the memo, but let's break this down. So to the HPSCI majority members, from the HPSCI majority staff, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, abuses at the Department of Justice and the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The purpose of the memorandum provides members an update on significant facts relating to the committee's ongoing investigation into the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, and the use of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, during the 2016 presidential cycle. Our findings, which are detailed below, 1, raises concerns with the legitimacy and legality of certain DOJ and FBI interactions with Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Corps, or the FISCO. And 2, represent a troubling breakdown of legal process established to protect the American people from abuses related to the FISA process. Investigation update. On October 21st, 2016, DOJ and FBI sought and received a FISA probable cause order not under Title 567, under Title 7, authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from FISC. FISC. Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump presidential campaign, consistent with requirements under FISA. The application had to be first certified by the director or deputy director of the FBI. It then required the approval of the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, or the Senate-confirmed Assistant Attorney General for the National Security Division. The FBI and DOJ obtained one initial FISA warrant targeting Carter Page and 3 FISA renewals from the FISC. As required by Statute 50 U.S.C. 1805 D1, a FISA order on an American citizen must be renewed by the FISC every 90 days, and each renewal requires a separate finding of probable cause. Then Director James Comey, wow, that's the name dropping some things now. Then Director James Comey signed 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI, and Deputy Director Andrew McCabe signed 1. Then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, remember that name, Sally Yates, she back during last year was I think fired, or she resigned because she didn't want to follow orders. She didn't want to follow orders. Then acting Deputy Attorney General Dana Boatney and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, again, he's now Deputy Attorney General, I think, or Assistant Attorney General, assigned 1 or more FISA applications on behalf of the DOJ. So at this point, Rod Rosenstein should recuse himself, just like they forced Jeff Sessions to recuse himself.
Yep.
Because he signed the FISA application on behalf of the DOJ. Due to the sensitive nature of foreign intelligence activity, FISA submissions, including renewals before the FASCA, are classified, such as the public's confidence in the integrity of the FISA process depends on the court's ability to hold the government to the highest standard, particularly as it relates to surveillance of American citizens. However, the FISA rigor in protecting the rights of Americans, which is reinforced by 90-day renewals of surveillance orders. It is necessary to dependent on the government's production to the court of all material and relevant facts. This should include information potentially favorable to the target of the FISA application that is known by the government. In that case of Carter Page, the government had at least 4 independent opportunities before the FISC to accurately provide an accounting of relevant facts. However, our findings indicate, as described below, material and relevant information were omitted. All right, so this is the whole major points going into this. So big point 1, the dossier compiled by Christopher Steele, or as it's known in the mainstream media, the Steele dossier, on behalf of the DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign, formed an essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign via the law firm Perkins Cole, it's Cole, and research firm Fusion GPS to obtain a derogatory information on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Point A, neither the initial application in October of 2016, nor any of the renewals disclose or reference the role of the DNC. Clinton campaign or any part of the campaign in funding Still's efforts, even though the political origins of the Still dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. The initial FISA application notes Still was working for a named U.S. person, but does not name Fusion GPS and Principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by a U.S. law firm, Perkins Cole, representing the DNC, even though it was known by the DOJ at the time of the political actors were involved with the Still dossier. The applicant does not mention Still was ultimately working on behalf of and paid by the DNC and Clinton campaign, or that the FBI had separately authorized payment to Still for the same information. The Carter Page FISA application also cited extensively a September 23rd, 2016 Yahoo News article by Michael Eiskopf, which focuses on Page's July 2016 trip to Moscow. The article does not corroborate the Still dossier because it is derived from the information leaked to Still himself to Yahoo News. The Page FISA application incorrectly assessed that Still did not directly provide information to Yahoo News. Still has admitted in the British court filings that he had met with Yahoo News and several other outlets in September of 2016 at the direction of Fusion GPS. Perkins Cole was aware of Still's initial media contacts, but they hosted at least one meeting in Washington, D.C. in 2016 with Still and Fusion GPS, where this matter was discussed. So basically what they did was they took an article from Yahoo News and used that as the basis to get the FISA warrant. That's what I'm understanding. You guys feel free to jump in if you have any comments.
Well, I mean, this right here proves that, Hillary Clinton was attempting. No, it sounds to me like it was Hillary Clinton that was the guilty party in all this, and not the Trump campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that if anything, the Robert Mueller needs to be fired and let go, and everybody just needs to move on from this Russia investigation.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's a witch hunt. There's nothing there. I mean, there's no proof whatsoever that, there's no proof that Trump collaborate with the Russians, and there's no proof that Russians hacked the election. But continuing on, Still was suspended and then terminated as an FBI source for what the FBI defines as the moment of serious violations and unauthorized disclosure to the media of his relationship with the FBI in an October 30th, 2016 Mother Jones article by David Korn. Still should have been terminated for his previous undisclosed contacts with Yahoo and other outlets in September before the Page application was submitted to the FISA in October, but Still improperly concealed from and lied to the FBI about those contacts. So that whole year, when the mainstream media said that an anonymous source, I'm going to lean towards that Still was one of those anonymous sources. Because he got caught giving out information to Mother Jones, and that's why he was fired. So, I mean, it's all there. Part B, Still's numerous encounters with the media violate the cardinal rule of source handling, maintaining confidentiality, and discriminate that Still has become a less than reliable source for the FBI. All right. So you got this guy who was a strong source, and now he's not even reliable anymore. Number 3, before and after Still was terminated as
and all the sources are anonymous.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't
Now,
even.
go ahead, Amy.
No, I'm just saying, I just don't understand how every source is anonymous. Like, there's no solid evidence or a person that can actually be, cited or interviewed or anything. I mean, for all we know, I mean, it's probably all made up.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I wouldn't be surprised after Steele was terminated as the source for the FBI, if he didn't went and continue on providing information to the mainstream media. I would not be surprised at all.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Number 3, before and after Steele was terminated as a source, he maintained contact with the DOJ via then Associated Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr, a senior DOJ official who worked closely with Deputy Attorney General Yates and later Rosenstein. Shortly after the election, the FBI began interviewing Orr, documenting his communications with Steele. For an example, in 2016 of September, Steele admitted to Orr his feelings against then candidate Trump when Steele said, and I quote, he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. So you have Steele, who is so anti-Trump, he was so desperate at preventing Donald Trump being president. So he worked with the Clintons, he worked with the DNC to bring out false information against President Trump and hoping to sabotage his presidency. And, well, that sort of backfired a little bit. This clear evidence of Steele's bias was recorded by Orr at the time and subsequently in official FBI files, but not reflected in any of the page FISA applications. During the time period, Orr's wife was employed by Fusion GPS. Okay, so the same company with the Russian Gate scandal, the Russian memo or Russian dossier. So his wife was employed by Fusion GPS. So no bias there. That's a big nothing burger. That's a big nothing burger. To assist
now,
in
this
the
dossier,
cultivation. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this dossier question, this is the PIS dossier?
Yeah, the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate. The Golden Shower Gate.
Golden Shower?
Golden Shower Gate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, in case anybody didn't know what Fusion GPS is, it's a commercial research and strategic intelligence firm based in Washington, D.C. And they were founded in 2011 by Glenn Simpson, who is a former investigative reporter for the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Very interesting. But, yeah, so continuing on, again, his wife was employed by Fusion GPS to assist in the cultivation of opposition research. So basically, we have Orr's wife employed by Fusion GPS to assist on opposition to Trump, and again, the Steele dossier. So all this is connecting together. This is another piece of the puzzle. Orr later provided the FBI with all of his wife's opposition research, paid for by the DNC and Clinton campaign via Fusion GPS. So from what I understand is that the DNC and the Clinton campaign paid Fusion GPS for opposition research on Donald Trump. The Orr's relationship with Steele and Fusion GPS was inexplicably concealed from FISA. According to the head of the FBI Counterintelligence Division, Assistant Director Bill Priestap, the corroboration of the Steele dossier was in infancy at the time of the initial page FISA application. After Steele was terminated, a source validation report conducted by an independent unit within FBI assisted Steele's reporting as only minimally corroborated. Yet in early January 2017, Director Comey briefed President-elect Trump on a summary of the Steele dossier, even though it was, according to his June 2017 testimony, salacious and unverified. While the FISA application relied on Steele's past record of credible reporting on other irrelevant matters, it ignored or concealed his anti-Trump financial and ideological motivations. Furthermore, Deputy Director McCabe testified before the committee in December of 2017 that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISA without the Steele dossier information. So basically what Director McCabe said is that without the Steele dossier, the fake dossier, the unverified dossier, there would have been no warrant for the wiretapping. They needed that dossier so they can conduct the warrant, so they can wiretap Trump and his campaign. And then the final, for the final page, the page FISA application also mentions information regarding fellow Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos. That name sounds familiar because it was in the media a couple months ago. But there was no evidence of any cooperation or conspiracy between Page and Papadopoulos. The Papadopoulos information triggered the opening of an FBI counterintelligence investigation in late July of 2016 by FBI agent Pete Strzok. Remember that guy? Remember old Pete Strzok? Strzok?
Yeah,
Strzok.
he and his ugly girlfriend, exchanging texts about how they hate Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, his mistress, his lawyer mistress, Strzok was reassigned by the Special Counsel's Office to FBI Human Resources for improper text messages with his mistress, FBI attorney Lisa Page. No known relation to Carter Page, where they both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump in favor of Clinton, who Strzok had also investigated. The Strzok-Lisa Page texts also reflect the extensive discussions about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, and including a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. And that's the last of it. All right, so I don't know how the media is I don't know how the media is spinning this to say this is a nothing burger. I mean, clearly it states that they needed the Golden Shower Gate dossier to enact the FISA warrants, the fiscal warrants for the wiretapping of the Trump campaign. Without that, they would have no bias whatsoever of wiretapping Trump and his campaign.
So yeah, a nothing burger. Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, what do you think is going to come out of it?
Well, normally, if I would love to have those people in that memo locked up and jailed, but I don't see that happening. I do see that Mueller is probably going to continue on his investigation. They reported, from what I understand, is that Reuters is saying that the White House says no charges will be made at the Justice Department following the release of the FISA memo. So what Trump needs to do is, unfortunately, get rid of Sessions, get someone in there that will actually do their job, and put these people behind bars. As much as I like Sessions, he's not doing the job. He's either been compromised or he's weak or whatever. He's just not doing the job.
Yeah, I agree. He's just Sessions is just he I don't know if he's unwilling or if he's just I'm not sure. I mean, Sessions needs to go. He does. He absolutely does. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting the job done. And I think that, yes, the president needs to hire somebody that's much stronger willed and someone who will actually do the job that is required.
It kind of surprises me, though. I mean, of all people, I would never think that, Jeff Sessions wouldn't be, capable to get the job done. So, I mean, it's kind of disappointing in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
I also think that the president needs to fire Mueller.
I don't think at this point, I don't think he should fire Mueller just yet because he's Inspector Clouseau. He is so incompetent.
Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. But he is so incompetent. All the stuff that he's doing is just digging a hole deeper for the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. So hold off on firing Mueller.
Keep Mueller in there because he is essentially showing how ridiculous and how incompetent he is. Yeah, let people see what he's doing. That's what I think. That's what the president. Yeah, I changed my mind. I think that's what the president needs to do. Let people see how incompetent Mueller is.
Exactly, because for him to be a powerful player of the deep state, he's pretty incompetent. But he needs to keep Mueller on for now. What he needs to do is what Trump needs to do. President Trump needs to do is get rid of Sessions, punt him somewhere else. Punt him somewhere else. He doesn't have to be Attorney General. He can be he could be Assistant Attorney General once Rosenstein is gone. Because I got a feeling that Rosenstein is probably not going to be working there for much longer.
Well, let's see. Trey Gowdy is not looking to run again. So hey.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So, if that's going to leave a spot open for the Attorney General, let's how about Trey Gowdy?
Oh yeah, I think Trey Gowdy would be a strong contender. Former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, I think he'd be a strong contender too.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Yeah, but he needs to avoid any of the swamp dwellers for Attorney General because they're going to be like Sessions and just roll over and not do a damn thing. But so leave Mueller where he's at right now because I think Mueller is probably thinking to himself, why doesn't this guy fire me already? He's like, I don't know what to do. Trump, hurry up and fire me. But no.
Mueller, I have to say this, Mueller is doing more to damage his own reputation than anything that anybody else could possibly do. Yeah. So, it would be a good idea just to leave him in there and give him enough rope to hang himself, right?
Exactly. So leave Mueller where he's at. Replace the Attorney General and replace the Deputy Attorney General with Trey Gowdy or Rudy Giuliani.
No, replace the Attorney. Well, yeah, okay. Maybe Giuliani as Attorney General and Gowdy as Deputy Attorney General.
Yeah, because Rosenstein needs to be gone. Needs to be gone. Jeff Sessions, as much as I like him, he needs to be gone. He's either. I think he's compromised. I think they scare the shit out of him completely, so he's not doing anything. But replace the attorney generals and the deputy attorney generals. Then the attorney general needs to assign a second special counsel to oversee Mueller's investigation. Go ahead, Henry.
Right. The thing about Sessions is he recused himself in a matter that he did not need to recuse himself from.
Yeah. Yeah, he had every single right to meet with the Russian ambassador. That was his job.
I feel like he did it intentionally, though, just so he could recuse himself.
That or they scare the crap out of him, and that's why.
Yeah. Because he has been very, very, what do you call it? He's been very ineffective. He really has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what accomplishments has he made so far in a year? Not even a year.
Not very many.
I mean, what can we say that he actually, got done?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he talks big, but he's not implicating what he talks. I think Sessions should be more Homeland Security. I think that would be a perfect, suitable replacement for him.
Yeah.
On him with Homeland Security.
Just a little off topic for a second. You may have seen me taking something. Salmon oil capsules. These are really great. They're good for joint health, heart health. 1,000 milligrams, take 2 a day.
Nice.
Oh, I take salmon oil.
Yeah, they're good. Although, the only drawback is when you belch, they get that fish taste.
Yeah, because it's salmon oil. And you do the
I
fish
just
oil?
had to take some Pepto. We had dinner and whatever, it didn't settle right. It made me feel real sick. Ugh.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I don't know. Pizza.
Might have been that.
But then, and then we got salad, and it was like that antipasto salad, and I think it was something in there that it just didn't settle right in my belly, and it just makes me feel icky. Ugh. Anyway.
That's all right. Yeah, but
no, of course, I was going to say the reason, of course, that the leftists and the fake news media are saying this is a big nothing burger is because it makes them look bad, and they don't want the average American to go to a website and take a look at this memo, because they want to discredit it, because they figure the left wants to discredit it because they don't want people wising up and say, "Oh yeah, let's look at this memo. Let's take a look at the contents of this memo." So,
and plus you gotta take into consideration that the average American is not going to do this and research themselves. They're going to go to Twitter. They're going to go to Facebook. Some of them even still watches mainstream media, in which their mainstream media is crapping themselves. Even though they're saying this is a nothing burger, even though it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be so much misinformation out there about this memo.
Yeah, that's true, folks. I can guarantee you, if anybody who's watching this video, I'm sure Shane's going to put the link down below. Click on the link, take a look at the memo for yourself, and decide for yourself. We're not going to tell you what to decide on this. That's up to you.
Absolutely.
We can't control people's thoughts, so make your own minds up.
Again, this is news opinion.
Another problem is that a lot of people, even if they do read it, if they don't really know the backstory about everything, I mean, it can be taken one or two ways depending on what they've already heard. I mean, because if they've already got something in their head, it's harder to, they can read it and not even comprehend it.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll do is I'll post a link to the memo in the description below, and I'll also post a link to Stephen Molyneux, and he did a breakdown of the memo, so he'll discuss it and break it down and see what it means.
That. Yes, I like that guy.
Who was this?
He does a really good job.
Yeah, he does a great job. He does a great work.
He has great presentation of his speech and how he talks.
Who?
I don't know how you say his last name.
Stefan Molyneux. Oh yeah, he's really good. Yeah. I haven't watched his video yet. I'll definitely have to check it out for sure.
Yeah, he did it. I listened to it on my way home. It was really good. I listened to almost all his videos, though. I just like him. I like how he speaks.
Yeah, he's like French Canadian.
Well, it's like the tone and just the way that he presents it. It gets your attention, and you can understand what he's the information being presented.
Oh yeah, Stefan Molyneux, yes. He's the perfect one to break it down. Really, he is.
Does he live in America or no?
I think he's
I'm
Canadian. I
not
think
sure.
he's in Canadian. I think he's
Because
in
he
Canada.
talks a lot about American issues. I never really see him talk about any, like, if he is from Canada, I don't see him speak much about Canadian issues. And we know they have a lot.
He's really good. Yeah. One that I like to watch is Paul Joseph Watson.
Oh yeah, he does
He's
great
good.
work too. I think he did I think he did a breakdown of the memo too.
Cool.
I didn't see
Yeah.
his breakdown of it yet.
Some of the stuff Paul Joseph Watson does, as far as the popular culture and how the left, the left's role in popular culture, and how he breaks all that down, is really pretty good too.
Yeah. All right. So going forward after this memo, I can guarantee you there's going to be a big distraction piece in the upcoming days and weeks to distract people from this memo, because the American people has the attention span of a gnat. So this memo is going to be dusted under the rug by next week. Mark my word. But we won't forget about it. I won't forget about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we'll forget about
and
it.
The people,
but
yeah, the people that do stuff won't forget about it.
Some manufacturing crisis will happen.
Oh, for sure.
And that'll cause Americans to. It's like the shiny object. Look at the shiny object over here. Don't pay attention to what's going on over there.
Pay no attention behind the man or behind the curtain.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if anything does,
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. What was it? The mayor. What was it? The current mayor of Chicago said during the Obama administration, "Never let a good crisis go to waste."
Oh yeah, he did. I think so. That's a terrible thing to say.
The old dead fish. The old dead fish himself, from Emmanuel.
Yeah, I love how the media is trying to spin this. That this is a nothing burger. It is a something burger. It's huge.
Yeah,
and
I actually did watch mainstream media today. I had my sister-in-law. Well, yeah, it's actually been a rough week. She had a stroke Sunday night.
Oh my goodness.
And so she's been in the hospital, since then. She's paralyzed on her left side, and she's only 57. But anyway, I've, have gone up there to see her, and she had the news on and I was like watching it, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even believe I'm watching this crap.
Yeah.
So let's see. Now we have Memo. Now we have the memo released, and and let's see what the fallout is.
I think this is like the domino effect. The memo's released, then the dominoes is going to come crashing, tumbling down.
I think so.
I think there's going to be more released. I wouldn't be surprised if they do like the distraction, if they do some kind of manufactured distraction to distract people from it. But because it is Super Bowl weekend, so Super Bowl is this coming Sunday. I would not be watching.
No, me either.
My prediction still stands. It's going to be the lowest rated Super Bowl.
I wouldn't watch it anyway. I mean, I've never watched it, so
I watched it the past couple of years because I just want to,
well, we don't have cable, so
I'm not going to watch it. Here's the thing. I'm not going to, but I don't want the Patriots to win. They're cheaters.
I did buy. We did at work. We have like a Super Bowl pool where we have like a chart up, and you bought a box for $1, and there was like 100 boxes. So I mean, I did buy some boxes and went into the pool. So, but I'm not gonna watch it. I just wanted to win some money.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it either. You know, I number one, I have no dog in. I have no dog in that fight. Number one. Number two, obviously the big issue with the individuals wanting to kneel, and the NFL essentially act like the Keystone Cops with the whole issue.
Yeah, and plus, not only that, the NFL didn't allow the whole "Veterans Please Stand" commercial during the Super Bowl. They didn't allow that, which is nonsense.
Yeah,
I'll be watching I'll be watching a Puppy Bowl. I'm hoping my little. My prediction is that the Golden Retriever will win. Like, whoa. Anyway, but this memo should be concerning to Americans as a whole, because here's the thing. Let's just say if some kind of fake news comes out about one of you guys, they can use that to wiretap you. They can use that to listen into your phone calls. They can use that to, hack your computer, I guess, and hack your email account and your banking. They can use that to do all that. That should be a main concern for all of us.
Well, who's to say they're not already? Who's to say that they don't? I'm sorry, Amy.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
you're fine. Go ahead.
Who's to say they're not already doing that in some aspects? I mean, if they have any kind of information on us,
well, they've already have.
You know,
they
like
know everything
card
about every one of us.
Yeah, there you go. We're probably on some list somewhere. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we're probably on some list. I think everybody's on some list.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We
Jericho would say, "You just made the list."
Yeah, you just made the NSA list.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that anybody that goes to or signs up for any type of government, like if you say I get notifications like via email from the White House or like any type of government platform website, that your information automatically goes onto some type of server and you're tracked. I don't know how accurate that is, but they keep like your IP address for everybody that clicks on there. But I don't know why what good that would do. Have y'all heard of that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, you haven't heard of it?
I haven't heard of that.
I don't know. I can't remember where I saw that at. I'll have to look into it because it sounded more interesting than what I just explained it.
Yeah, I find that. I have to read that. Right. No, I understand. You said that if you sign up for government notifications through like email and everything, you're like on some kind of list. And
yeah, but I don't know why that would be though. I mean, why would you go on a list just for wanting to go read, what like press releases and, see the visual of speeches? I don't see why you would be flagged for that.
Probably because you're an American and then Trump's pro-American and they hate that. So, they're going to put you on this list so they can monitor you and everything.
Yep.
I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, just from being like pro-America?
Just being, exactly. For being pro-America, you're on the list. You're on the list to being monitored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what the purpose was. I mean, it just seems like a waste of time to me.
Yeah, it does.
Because I'm always on that website, so my name must be popping up all over.
Must be. So let's talk about the 2018 Grammys. Oh
yeah.
Lord.
I didn't watch them.
I didn't watch them either.
No, but
I heard about it.
I did not watch it, but I heard about it. I saw videos about it. Mark Dice made a great video about the Grammys, and a guy named Hunter Applewell made a really good video about the Grammys.
So what happened at the Grammys was that it was the lowest rated Grammys of all time, and that not a lot of people watch. Not like major. Put that in bold. Lowest rated Grammys of all time. And the reason why is because it was so anti-Trump, and they had, these celebrities, and they had these musicians, if you want to call them musicians, because every song they have is crap. Read the fake news Fire and Fury book. They read excerpts from it. And
yes, including
and they had the real president, the one that won the popular vote, Hillary Clinton. Ooh,
oh yeah,
She read an excerpt from the Fire and Fury book.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I call her the super bitch. I call her the super bitch, or
the wicked witch of the West.
They should be embarrassed that they even had to stoop that low. I mean, what is the point of even having her there? She's nobody. I mean, she holds no position. She's
This was done by James Corden, the host of the Late Late Show. Give me Craig Ferguson any day. Craig Ferguson was better.
Yeah. Oh, going back to the memo real quick. If you guys remember that the media, the mainstream media, was all nerve-wracking about it. They said, "Oh, this memo should not be released. This memo should not be released." Now it's been released, and they're like, "Oh, nothing to worry about." It's like, come on, you did a complete 360. But yeah, let's go back to the Grammys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Grammys sucked. I didn't watch.
Didn't have the lowest ratings.
It did. Very, very low ratings.
It did,
the lowest ratings of all time, I guess.
Yeah,
but
maybe they'll just cancel them out.
I hope so. Let's cancel the Oscars. Let's cancel the Grammys. Let's cancel
these award shows now are nothing more than they're leftist love fests. That's all they are.
Yeah.
It's all about
basically
leftists.
Every single award show is trying to outdo themselves, saying we're more anti-Trump than you guys. It was such an anti-Trump bash fest. Yeah, I mean, and clearly the American people is not buying into all this, because if it's been the lowest rated Grammys of all time, then the American people is done with it. They don't want to see political nonsense in their award show.
I think the Oscars is either later this month or early March, and it's probably going to be low rated also.
Yeah. And who's hosting the Oscars this year? Have they announced that?
I have no idea.
No idea. Don't care.
No one knows.
Amy Schumer. I have no idea.
I wouldn't surprise me.
I hope not. Jesus. That'd be worse.
And her uncle will be her special guest.
Ew. Oh, God.
Chucky Schmucky.
No, I just
could you imagine that being your uncle and having to go to like Thanksgiving dinner and stuff with them? Ooh. I don't even think she's that funny. I don't even know how she has a job.
She made all those nasty jokes. She made all those nasty jokes on her little leather special, which was on Netflix.
I watched that. That was disgusting.
The most downloaded.
I felt really disgusted after I
was the most downloaded
all
comedy special.
she did was talked about her vagina, and that was
I know.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I believe that was the most
downloaded comedy special. The Netflix comedy specials. Did y'all see Dave Chappelle's? You did?
No, I missed that.
Okay, Dave Chappelle has one out. It just came out, and not the first one, but the second one is really good. He kind of talks about the perversion that goes on in Hollywood in a discreet way, like not like straight out saying it, but making jokes about it where you kind of understood what he was saying. And it was pretty interesting how he Anyway, I think y'all should watch it and see what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take a look at
Dave
it. Which,
Chappelle was at the
go ahead.
Grammys, and Dave Chappelle was at the Grammys also.
Yeah, I
And
saw that.
he introduced some black artist, or
Yeah, and plus now people's complaining about the Grammys, saying too many men won awards.
Oh gosh.
I'm like, who cares?
Now the whole gender thing,
Yeah. So the whole gender thing. Well, maybe if the women would have, made better songs, they would have got it. I don't know. Anyway, but
well, all
Jimmy
the music
Kimmel
sucks anyway, and
yeah.
all the new music is terrible.
Wait,
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel
is hosting the Oscars.
Well, that would be a surefire. That would be.
So he's going to be.
That would be a sure way to miss the Oscars. That would be a sure way to miss the Oscars, because we know he's going to get up there.
He's probably going to be there crying, like he always does. Donald Trump, he's a bad man.
He's going to bash Trump, and he's going to, make stupid jokes and all that.
Do you guys remember when the Oscars were most highly regarded in Hollywood?
Yeah,
that was like the most, way up there. You haven't even made Hollywood until you got an Oscar. Now they're just a dumpster fire, just like the Grammys. They're all dumpster fires. All these award shows are dumpster fires.
Well, I think the only people that watch them are probably teenagers. That I just don't know any grown people that still watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've never actually watched the Oscars.
I watched the Oscars up until a few years ago, about 2004, I guess it was, and that was when Lord of the Rings, the
2004. That was more than a few years ago. 2004 was like 13 years ago.
I know.
But 2004, 2014.
That was one of the last times Billy Crystal was the host of it. And Billy Crystal was funny. I like Billy Crystal. I remember the Oscars.
Made you stop?
I just got disinterested in them after that, I guess. But like I said, Billy Crystal. I remember the Oscars where Jack Palance won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. He gets up there and starts doing one-arm push-ups. That was great.
No, it's funny.
I know this is kind of off topic, but what do y'all think about the flu epidemic that they're saying is, going across the country?
Yeah, I heard about that, and I heard that it's not actually a flu. It's not actually the flu, but it's mimicking the flu.
Well, most people that are, passing away are dying from pneumonia, or it's pneumonia related.
Yeah.
By the way, they no longer use the live virus in the
flu vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's all it's like from chicken eggs.
Yeah. They no longer use the live virus in it, so.
I didn't get it. I don't like getting it. I got it last year, and my arm swelled up like a baseball.
That's not good.
I'm gonna get my shot on Monday, so I gotta go see the doctor anyway. So that'd be the best time to do it.
Oh, you haven't got your flu shot yet?
No. I'm gonna get it. I haven't gotten a flu shot since like 2007. Because last time I got it, that may have been when they were still using the live virus at that time. Because I got sick to my stomach a week later.
Yeah, that's what it does. Basically, what the flu shot does.
Yeah, you'll get it, and
basically what the flu shot does is that it lowers your immune system. It weakens your immune system.
This year's formula is only like 20% chance of it's not even the strain that is going around. It has the flu shot this year isn't even close to it. So I don't know.
No,
I'm not getting it though.
my dad was getting on to me yesterday. He said, "You need to get the flu shot because of all the people that have been dying." You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that the flu is pretty bad. I know several people that have, gotten it and they've been sick for, weeks.
I'm trying to find the article on, well, it's from like AP.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is it cold where you guys are?
It's chilly here. It's in the 30s here. It's supposed to get down to about 20-something.
Oh yeah, I'm outside
I
right
think
now and
so.
I'm shivering. I don't like it. Ooh.
But yeah, the Grammys. I mean, we have these quote unquote artists getting up there, and they're we call it talking about these social justice warrior issues and all this crap.
yeah, it's disgusting.
Non-issues, they make it an issue.
Yeah.
Well, I found the article. Let's go and talk about the highest rated that beat the Grammys State of the Union address. And let's break down what happened at that State of the Union address. So President Trump delivered his State of the Union address. This is the first one since becoming president. And it was the third longest State of the Union. And I thought it was epic. I thought it was tremendous. It was pro-America. It was
very
pro everything. It was
presidential.
great. Very, very presidential. I completely agree. However, not without controversy. You had the Democrats basically not stand at once, didn't give a standing ovation for the boy that punt flags on the veterans' memorials, didn't give a standing ovation for the whole MS-13 gang that killed two couples' daughters. They didn't stand for anything. And then you had Guterres, or whatever his name is
he walks out.
Yeah, he walks out during the USA chants because he's so anti-American. I mean, just a visual of that State of the Union address. You're surprised that the cameras actually pan towards the Democrats because those people right there didn't stand for anything, and that right there can be like a great campaign ad. Have like President Trump say black unemployment down. They pan to the Black Caucus. Didn't stand for that. Didn't clap for that. Didn't do anything for that. You had Nancy Pelosi, sucking her teeth out. Oh my God, there was hatred.
There was
from that woman.
There was one member of the Congressional Black Caucus who applauded. He was kind of looking around like, "Am I supposed to applaud, or are you all supposed to applaud too?"
It's like, no. I think he was like, "Oh, I didn't know we were not supposed to applaud." It's like,
Well, all it does is make them look bad. I mean, it's a bad reflection on themselves.
Yeah, Pelosi, who I think is dementia-ridden, she's sitting up there. She's stuck on her teeth and adjusting her dentures and all that.
That hatred coming from that woman, you can see that coming from her.
Oh yeah,
so much hatred from that woman.
Yeah, she's.
Now, I think Schumer was sitting beside her, and he was applauding during the immigration stuff. But he kind of looked at Nancy like as if, "Should I be applauding?"
He's like, "Miss Nancy, do I have to applaud, or do I need to applaud, Miss Nancy?" It's like, oh my God! And plus, it was just a half-ass applaud. He didn't really mean it.
Do I have your permission to applaud?
Exactly. Yeah. Miss Nancy, do I have your permission to applaud? It's great.
That is like, wait, his boss. I was thinking of another word, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they applaud some, but you could tell it was not. It was half-assed. It was not, it was not passionate. It wasn't passionate coming from them.
They were very any of them who did applaud. I think it was very half-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, the thing is, what I understand, they actually booed about the two girls being murdered. They booed about that. That's disgusting.
Yeah, they because what they did is they brought in some illegals to watch the State of the Union, and they booed during the whole DACA thing and the whole MS-13 speech that Trump honored those people with. And another thing I saw, it was like, oh, Trump just brought those people in for propaganda and peace and, to promote his hatred. And I'm like, okay, first off, Trump invited those people, all right? Those people had every right to politely decline that invitation. They did not do that. All right. Mm-hmm. So they wanted to be there. They wanted to be there. They wasn't forced to be there.
Right. And then there was the whole thing. The left tried to make something out of, Melania didn't go to the speech with the president.
There's protocol, people. She didn't come in. She didn't go at the same time as President Trump to the speech. But I'm like, there's a protocol in place. There has to be a reason why she didn't go, with him, drive right along with him. I'm sure there's some kind of protocol.
I would ask those same individuals, well, did Barack and Michelle go together to the State of the Union?
They probably wouldn't know because nobody paid attention.
Yeah, I didn't even watch. I didn't watch the state. I didn't watch any State of the Union.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't watch it. But yeah. So what the Democrats did, they showed their hatred towards America. They hate church. They hate family. They hate police. They hate military. And Joy Reid actually tweeted about that. Yeah. Said, "Well, you want to take America back to 1950s?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, racist Reid." That's what I call her, racist Reid.
Yeah, that is.
I don't understand the people that say that, we're going backwards instead of forward. I just don't understand the logic behind it. I just don't
at the very least, she should be suspended from MSNBC. At the very most, she should be fired.
Mm-hmm.
Because for making a comment like that, what a bitch! What an absolute bitch!
Yeah. I cannot stand that woman. She's got so much hatred in her.
Yeah, she's virtue. Yeah, we have all these leftist virtue signaling, and everybody's saying how this speech is so it's so white supremacy and all this crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's disgusting, but minus all that hatred coming from the Democrats, President Trump did an excellent speech. Some of the things that came out to me, the biggest one I absolutely love was Americans are dreamers too.
Yes.
I fucking love that line. Good. I love that line. I love that line so much. I mean,
well, it's true.
I saw. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We don't.
I
mean, just think about the gas stations when you. I'm not trying to be mean, but they're all, owned and run by, people from like the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys are like that up there, but like all of the, gas stations here are owned and operated by, Indian families because they get, grants and money to do this. But Americans don't have that opportunity. And it's like, why don't it just doesn't make sense. Why don't we have those opportunities? How come we don't get grant money or, they also get like 7 or 8 years tax exemptions. I mean, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. We don't have all that.
Yeah, that's true.
We couldn't go anywhere in this world and get the privileges that other people do when they come here. Like if we try to go to, you know, India, I mean, you think that we would get money? No, not
Oh
at
God,
all.
no, no. We would probably
So
get
it, you know,
arrested and put in jail.
And we
so,
probably
and
would.
everybody wants to talk about America, but yet we're the only ones that, you know, open arms, you know, hey, yeah, come on over and we'll give you all this money to start your own business. And, you know, you live like a king over here. And you have the people that are born and raised here that are barely able to buy groceries.
Hmm.
Yep. And what I was going to say was is that then you had Joe Kennedy the third. I mean, could
Oh God.
could a man
Oh,
drool
God.
any more than him?
Drooling Joe or blubbering Joe. He looked like a blubbering idiot.
He looked like a rabid dog. He was a rabid. He exemplifies the perfect rabid leftist maniac. So he staged. You know,
Now,
he
is
staged
that like JFK's relative?
grandson.
Yeah, he's part of. I think he's like his great uncle. JFK is his great grandson.
His
Yeah.
grandson.
So Joe Kennedy the third. He's the third. I think that was probably a test run to see how he's going to do for president in 2020. By all means, put him there. He'll get
Oh
wiped to
my.
the floor. But Joe Kennedy is nothing more than an insult to the Kennedy family. He sold out, you know, to the deep state, the same deep state that killed his grandfather. Not only that,
Right?
he looked like Conan O'Brien after like a 3-day hangover, you know.
He
So
didn't look good at all.
Yeah, he
yeah,
just he looked like a freaking
and
he was a
then his
raving
speech pattern.
rabid lunatic.
Yeah, he was foaming at the mouth. I think what's going to happen is that Cory Booker and Joe Kennedy is going to get president and VP, and they can be like the, you know, the foaming of the mouth idiots or the blubbering idiots. Because you know, you remember Cory Booker, he foamed at the mouth at the DHS secretary.
Uh-huh.
And so Joe Kennedy, by all means, run him. He's great. He's great for us. Yeah, going back, and I was going to say his speech pattern. His speech pattern is mimicking Obama's speech pattern. And if you notice that, he was like, "The we need people that doesn't judge the sex of your spouse or the transgender of your spouse." I mean, he was talking about transgenders. He was talking about Mexicans. He was talking about all these, you know, identity politics. You know, playing that card and playing the race card and playing every single card that they can deal with. The same, you know, Democratic talking points, you know, spewed out by them and by the mainstream media. So, you know what, he's a poor candidate, but go ahead and run him. By all means, run him.
He looked and sounded and acted like the typical leftist lunatic. That's what he.
Mm-hmm.
He was. He was bad. He was very bad. Wait a minute, I'm trying to think if he's JFK's grandson or if he's Robert Kennedy's grandson.
I think he's nephew. He's a nephew to either Robert or John Kennedy.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's a Kennedy. He's a relative.
Yeah.
So, but he just.
Yeah, but Joe Kennedy's an insult to the Kennedy legacy. He's sold out. I mean, he's nothing like JFK is. I mean, you would never hear JFK play the identity politics card.
No.
If to compare Trump's speech and a JFK speech, there are both about similar because he's talked about Americans, he's talking about we, he's talking about us, and you know, JFK is more of a Trump figure.
Yeah. You don't have a whole lot of I.
Yeah.
You know, like Obama.
I and me and I did it.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, because when, you know, Trump speaks, he's very, you know, he talks like America. Like we are going to do it, not I.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was a great speech. I thought he did a great job, and I mean, and of course, the left, they talk about, oh, there's a division in America. Yeah, and you're the ones causing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're the ones that's causing it. I mean, the racism in America is caused by the mainstream media because, you have them, saying, oh, well, the blacks are, misinformed and missing all this other nonsense. And they're causing it. They're causing it. They want the race war to happen. And I don't believe that. I hope to believe that there won't be a race war amongst us.
Well, I mean, just think of it this way. Do you experience any racism on the level that is portrayed by the mainstream where, any of these crazy groups, like Black Lives Matter? I mean, in your everyday life, do you experience any of that?
I don't even experience white privilege because I'm
no,
like,
I don't either.
Every time I cross the street, and I see a car coming and it's like a white person in there and they keep going by, they never let me through. I'm like, where's my white privilege at, bro?
Yeah, we're family.
It's like nonsense. But speaking of Black Lives Matter, you have this school in Vermont raising a Black Lives Matter flag, promoting domestic terrorism.
Yep, that's what they're doing.
I mean, every time, I'm in public, like if I go to the store, it's like if a black person's there, they open the door or, I hold the door open and then it's like, thank you. It's like, I don't experience what, they're making it out to be that it's like. I mean, I don't know what it's like in big cities or California, but where I'm at, I don't have that. We don't go through that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my kids don't experience any type of racism, or do they see it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's the racism is so minuscule, but the mainstream media and the left needs it so they can get votes.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have certain people that don't like a group of people for their color, but honestly, it goes both ways. It's not just white people that can be racist. It's black people as well.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, then there's racism with all. There's racism with all.
On all sides, black, white, Asian, whatever.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing: racists are openly racist. There's no secret racists out there. They openly say they hate black people or they hate white people. So again, the mainstream media's narrative is like failed completely because apparently all white people are racist if you associate yourself with Trump or whatever.
Yeah, and we've had claims from the left that the president was racist back in the 70s because he denied blacks.
That apartment thing.
Yeah, that. Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, he did, but I don't know if it was so much of racism versus he didn't want the property damaged. I am not trying to be mean, but there are, when you, no, I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Yeah,
it's
like,
never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Even if he had those tendencies back then, he doesn't have them now.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I mean, unless you believe the fake news media when they say he's racist.
Yeah.
But, also people need to understand that during that time, they were just coming out of that error. They were just getting over that. It was a different time. It was a long time ago, and people change. And just because he did that one thing doesn't make him a racist today. And I mean, like I said, he could have had legitimate reasons behind it.
Yeah.
And it's his
But
business, and it's really, he owns it, and it's his call. And as to who he wants to rent to, I mean, he did get taken to court and had to settle, but
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can rent to anybody, and you don't have to rent to anybody.
and
I
how
guess, like,
can it, my question is, how can it be proven that had anything to do with race? How can it be
Yeah.
proven that was
I guess because
race?
they had like undercover applicants that went in, and like they had some, like white families, and then they had some black families with like the same type of backgrounds and income, and like the white families or whatever would get the rental, whereas the black families would not. So I guess that's how they took them to court on that. But I guess, and then he was actually made to, after that all happened, he was made to rent to, had to rent a certain percentage of the property to black people. I don't know. I watched a documentary on it not that long ago. That's why I knew it was undercover, because it was on Netflix.
But my question is, does anybody actually know if what's his name, Gutierrez, actually did say "fuck Americans," or is that?
Yeah, I didn't hear that about that, but
I don't.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What is? I don't know what you're talking about. What happened?
Well, Louis Gutierrez, representative, he walked out of the State of the Union, and supposedly he got out in the lobby and said "fuck Americans."
And he's a representative?
Yeah, he's a representative of what? Illinois? I think.
I think so.
Ooh, sounds like Illinois needs to get a new.
Yeah, definitely. Because here's the thing. What he did, he ran out because the speech was too pro-American for him when there was USA chants. So he ran out, and I mean, the Democrats thought the speech was too pro-American and too pro-family and everything. I'm like, good God, seriously?
They could have gave their seat up to me. I would have probably went and watched it.
Just 1 second here. But continue on with the State of the Union speech. CBS News conducted a couple of polls right after the speech, and you're not supposed to believe polls, but these results are kind of believable and may have been a little bit harder to fake. But so the first poll is: policies you heard in speech among speech watchers will help you 54%, will hurt you 14%, not affect you 32%. And that poll was after hearing President Trump's speech address. Most viewers think that the policies heard tonight would help them personally, though Democrats disagree. CBS News polls fine. And now the party identification. And here's the thing. The Democrats are saying there's going to be a blue wave, big blue wave coming this November. Well, the people that watch the speech, 42% said they were Republican, 25% said Democrat, and 33% said independent. And the 33% is key right there, because if he can convert some of those independents to vote for him, then and any of the pro-Trump people or pro-Trump anybody that's running that's pro-Trump, then there's going to be a big red explosion in this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Another one, 8 in 10 Americans who watched the speech felt that the president was trying to unite the country rather than divide it. Again, you got this false mainstream media narrative out there. Well, this speech is too diverse, it's too dark, you try to divide us. Well, 65% said that they felt proud after the speech. 35% said safer, 14% said scared, and 21% said angry.
Yeah.
And then another.
What would they be angry about, though?
Yeah, I say the 14% that's scared is probably the illegals because they're getting deported. And the 21% that's angry is probably some illegals too, because they're angry about getting deported. 3 in 4 Americans who tuned into President Trump's State of the Union approved of the speech. CBS News poll
That's
finds
a pretty large number.
75% approved of it, and 25% disapproved of it. And that's the end of the poll. But 75%, that's a huge number. And apparently Trump's approval rating is at around 49 to 50%. And from what I understand, it's at the exact same number as Obama during this tenure when he was in office.
During his first term.
First term, yeah.
Yeah. During Obama's first term, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. I mean, we see, he's not as hated as the left. The left wants to make Americans think, oh, everybody hates this president. Nobody likes him. Well, that shows right there. This clearly demonstrates that no, that's not the case at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that the mainstream, the fake news media actually reported those positive results for the president.
Yeah.
Because normally they would report negative crap. So this was a big surprise, a shocker from the mainstream press, the fake news media, that they would actually report something what do you call it, positive about the president. Because
I'm actually surprised at that too.
Yeah,
and, CBS and NBC and all that, they're all anti-Trump and everything.
Yep, they are. But yeah, these are positive. These are some positive things. I
am surprised that they actually reported some positive news. Mm-hmm. But again, his speech, it's
they
one of his
probably didn't have a choice.
Yeah. I'm sure they tried their damnedest to rig that poll, but they couldn't. Let's see here. So he did the State of the Union. Trump was actually in West Virginia yesterday or Wednesday, but before we get into that, there was an accident, a train accident with a dump truck involved.
Oh, I saw that.
I think it killed 2-3 people. 1-2-3 people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, thoughts and prayers go out to the victims' families and friends.
I didn't know somebody died.
All that.
The people in the dump truck died?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard about that. And
that's bad.
Yeah.
But the congressmen
I don't think any Congress people were killed, though.
No, but they were on the train, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were. Mm-hmm. There were like minor injuries reported to.
Yeah,
that's kind of ironic. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think it seemed kind of set up to me, because I mean, right after Trump had a successful speech, it seems like right after that something happens. Because if you remember, like I think last year we covered this. Trump had that great speech and everything, and then the very next day they said that Paul Manafort's going to be indicted, to overshadow that, to distract people from that. And I think, we saw a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago, with the whole other train accident, and there's reports on Twitter that said that Antifa had an entire blog posting about how to rig trains to go off the tracks and fight the resistance.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, maybe there might has to be something to do with that. I think this was purely set up.
Oh yeah, that was that train wreck that happened out in Washington State.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, did Antifa claim responsibility? That's my question.
Antifa's been pretty quiet lately.
Yeah, they have been.
Or did they only put up a blog post about how easy it is to derail a train?
I don't know if Antifa claimed the for the train accident or not, but I do remember they did put up the blog post of how to derail a train, and I think they pointed out the similarities between the train accident and that blog post.
Well, it is interesting.
But then the very next day, Trump was in West Virginia, and he did a great speech, another good speech, and he called out the Democrats in that speech and said that I said that black unemployment was at its lowest, and they just did nothing to there and just sit on their hands, which is true. I mean, they didn't do nothing except for to sit on their hands, and Nancy Pelosi sucking on her lips. Oh, and going back to Joe Kennedy for a minute, it looked like he sucked on something. He looked like he sucked on a male genitalia before the speech. Yeah. So all right, let's go back to Trump in West Virginia. And again, it was a good speech. I actually caught it this morning, and I thought it was great. I think he did great. I think he did well. And what do you guys thought? Did you guys catch the speech?
No.
I didn't see it, no. But from what I understand, one of his speeches was carried on CNN, and they cut the feed off.
That was the West Virginia one.
Oh, that's the one?
That was the West Virginia one. Yeah, they cut the feed off. Yeah, they cut the feed off of it.
Oh, oops. Oh, we didn't mean to do that. Oh, no, that was an accident.
Yeah, accident. They did it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, oops, sorry. I think that's pretty much it in the week in Trump. I think he did a couple of speech. So there's the thing that's been going around of a Law and Order SVU episode that aired called InfoWars, a interesting title, about a female conservative reporter played by our Reese Seahorn from Better Call Saul fame of Kim Wexler, unfortunately.
Kim, yeah.
So what happened in this episode was that the conservative reporter that's based on Aaron Coulter, was brutally attacked and raped by an Antifa member. Did you guys hear about this?
No, but it makes me want to watch the show. Huh. I like Law and Order.
Yeah, so
yeah, but it seems like they've really become very anti-conservative, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of the news shows. I have to wait until they come out on Netflix, but I don't know. I just like the crime shows. I know that sometimes they do kind of they make shows out of things that have actually happened. They'll change the storyline a little bit so they don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I have not watched a new episode of SVU for a long time, so don't really plan to start now.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't really enjoy the show. I don't watch the show. I don't really enjoy. I'm not really a big fan of police dramas or anything like that. So I don't watch that or CIS or NCIS.
Oh, I like that one too.
Yeah,
I like any crime show.
Yeah, NCIS is pretty popular. They had Abby on there. Yeah. They had Abby, and they have Mark Harmon, who slaps the guy in the back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Oh,
y'all
So
get to
okay.
see the super moon and the blue moon?
No, I missed
I
that.
saw
Oh
it
my!
on
It was
Tuesday
like a
night.
partial eclipse. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
neat.
didn't get up
Did
early.
Now I
you
heard about
see
the
I did
full
it?
not get up
moon.
early. You would have had to have gotten up
Like
like
what time?
four
What
Oh.
in
time
the
you had to get
morning,
up to
my
watch that?
time, to see that. Yeah, and I
Oh,
was
Like,
it
had to get
was
up like
pretty
at what? Like
early.
4 in the
It was at
morning?
like 5:30.
What?
yeah,
Well,
5:30
I
in the
have
morning.
to wake up that early
Okay,
anyway.
Jeez. All right, you
I,
want to know my schedule? Okay. I go to work at 8 o'clock. I wake up at 7:20.
Oh.
So I wake up at 7:20, and I'm only like 10 minutes away from work. So
Mhm.
I have to, yeah, I have to be at work at 8 too, but I wake up at like 5:20 and it takes me a while to get moving and then I have to get my kids
Oh
ready and
yeah,
take them. So like I wake up at I don't know, I'm awake for 2 hours before I leave the house. But I'll drink my coffee and, whatever.
oh yeah, got to have the coffee.
See what's going on. I'll like look at the news and just take my time because I don't like rushing. So
yeah, what I do is I go on my phone and look and see what happened throughout the night.
yeah, sometimes I don't know, like some nights will be nothing happens and then other nights, like everything happens at one time and it's like hard to try to keep
Mhm.
up. Weird how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to think of anything else that happened this week, but I think we covered the big thing, which was that memo, the big memo that was released. And speaking of that memo, Trump was actually caught on a hot mic after his State of the Union speech. I said he's going to release that memo 100%, and he kept his promise. He released the memo.
yep,
So,
he did.
so
He
we
did.
can't badger him about that.
Yep. I guess we can move on to local news.
Yep. So yeah, let's go to some local news. Henry, you got any local news for us?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Um,
Here's,
I have a story.
All right. Amy, go ahead and go first. How Henry
yeah,
finds his story.
Oh, okay.
we'll go ahead and let Amy go first. Yeah,
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead and go first.
Well, this
yeah.
actually happened last week, but I don't know, it kind of bothered me. But like up in town in Ocala, which is the next town up, um it was like on last Thursday, I believe it was. We get a phone call from the schools or the school board saying that, some of the schools were on lockdown in certain areas due to some like gun violence that was going on. And I didn't really think much of it because, my kids didn't go to that school. So anyway, then last Saturday I was on Facebook and this one person had taped this, incident that had happened, and it was a shooting at an apartment complex, and it was like one of the low income apartment complex,
Yeah.
and they actually filmed the whole thing while it was going on and like caught the guys like shooting the other guy, and it was all over some girl that somebody slept with, I don't know, but they got the whole thing and like streamed it live on Facebook, and it was just the most terrible thing I've ever seen, and I
Wow.
almost wish I didn't even watch it. I had no idea it was going to show everything, and I was just shocked that it was even still up.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple Dollar Generals keep got robbed again. It's like all of our Dollar Generals keep getting robbed for some reason. It makes me not even want to go in there.
Yeah, ours was robbed a few times before they remodeled it. I think they put some cameras. Yeah, they got cameras up in there now.
Yeah, ours do too,
So,
but for whatever reason, they keep getting robbed.
they remodeled ours. They remodeled our Dollar General store. So
do they have a gun?
The people that robbed the store?
No, the cashier.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm not
they
sure.
They need one. If
I mean, nobody was hurt, so I'm assuming they just, let them take whatever they want. But it was just the fact that it's not like a one-time thing. I mean, it happens all the time, and it makes you wonder what is really going on. How does this? I just no other stores are getting robbed, but Dollar General. So it makes no sense to me. But that's all I really have.
Well, ours has been robbed like after hours, like after it closed. Somebody break the glass out of the window, or the glass out of the door, and they go in there and they steal stuff out of there. So I don't know if I've not heard of any robberies since they installed cameras and since they remodeled it. So. So, anyway, my local news is pertaining to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is about 3.5 hours from here. Hattiesburg Maker Fair, bringing together artists and inventors. This weekend, high schoolers will be competing in teams at the Magnificent Things competition at the Hattiesburg Maker Fair. They'll be given a box of supplies and equipment and will build their best creation with what they have. Anna Wan, a committee member for the fair and a professor at the University of Southern Mississippi, said it's where artists and makers can come and share things that they have made. Children will also be able to participate in different activities. At this maker fair, there's interactive booths and there's show and tell booths. So Mississippi Children's Museum will be here with an interactive booth. Central Creativity and Makerspace and Moral will have activities for kids as well. Lamar County CTE will have a station, and all of these activities are free, said one. Camp Shelby will be here to demo what they do there as well. Now, Camp Shelby is a military installation this is not very far from Hattiesburg. The event will be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow at the historic Hattiesburg Train Depot. Admission for the event is free. However, Juan said that there is a $40 sign-up fee per team for the Magnificent Things competition. It's like a market, if you will, but without the pressure of selling, because we can't sell anything. So it's the ultimate window shopping experience without the shopping cart, Juan said. You just get to see what people have made, so it's like an adult show and tell, although there will be kids as well. So that's a pretty neat little thing that they got going on. Get kids involved in different projects and things like that. Yeah. So definitely something that the kids in that area can get involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything that's great, get the kids out and let them have some fun.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
It does.
You got another one, Henry, or is that the only one?
That was the only one.
Was that the only one?
Well, actually, yeah, I'm talking about one more thing. It's been in the local news. Back, I think it was in December, down here at Mississippi Delta Community College, somebody decided they were going to try and burn up the administrative building, and they were caught on surveillance camera. And they finally caught the individual that did it. And he was wearing like a hood and like a mask, but they were able to determine who he was somehow. I don't know how.
Wow, that's awesome. Not a bit.
and he has not denied it. So
yeah. So yeah,
I was gonna say he
probably
has.
probably an Antifa member.
Who knows? Maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So from my end.
All right. I got two. I actually found that flu thing.
Okay.
It looks like the flu, feels like the flu, and can even put patients in the hospital. But doctors said there's another virus adding to the misery this flu season that isn't easy identified. Adenoviruses, as the family of disease is known, are not seasonal and can cause fever, head, and body aches any time of the year. And it can also cause pink eye in some rare cases, severe complications. But the vaccine is only available to military members. While many doctors hope the vaccine becomes available to the public, even the standard flu vaccine has run out in most offices in Bluefield and Princeton. This is a quote, I guess, from one of the nurses or one of a doctor. It does mimic the flu virus, but there's no test specifically for that. So it's kind of tricky for the practitioners when we are treating patients because it is basically the same symptoms and the flu test is negative, said physician assistant Heather Cook. And it is simply a virus. You still must be cautious because you don't want any of these viruses to turn bacterial and have any complications such as pneumonia or things like that. The symptoms have been, the symptoms seem to be lasting quite a while. Some of the patients I've had that I've had the feedback from, they've had symptoms for almost 7 days, so the patients are quite sick. Cook says the best defense is to wash your hands frequently. So yeah, apparently this strand of flu is might be the main cause of this whole flu pandemic that's happening, and the vaccine is not available to civilians, only military members, which is kind of strange, I guess.
My dad's former military. I wonder if he'd be able to get that.
I don't see why not.
If he would be able to get that vaccine because he's former military.
Yeah, he should be able to get it.
Yeah. I would imagine.
No, I don't know. I don't know if they. Now, is he former military? You said.
Yeah, he retired with honors. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It just
he's
says military
retired.
members, so
he's
I'm
retired
guessing
military. He's retired military, so
he should be able to get it. I don't see why not.
He's a vet. He's a vet. So
yeah. And I got another one right here, and this ties into the whole Department of Education Facebook post that I posted. So this is basically what happened. The West Virginia Senate approves small pay raise for teachers. West Virginia Senate has approved a bill to give teachers annual pay raises of 1% over a 5-year period. The bill passed on a 33-0 vote after a lengthy discussion. One senator was absent. The bill, which amounts to raises for about $400 per year for teachers starting on July 1st, now heads to the House of Delegates. Berkeley County Republican John Unger on Friday called the bill an insult to teachers. A day earlier, Senate Republicans cited fiscal concerns in rejecting attempts by the Democrats to make a pay increase larger in the first year. Teachers from Logan, Memo, and Wyoming County held a one-day walkout to attend a Capitol rally and witness the vote. According to the National Education Association, West Virginia teachers earn an average salary of $45,622, which ranks 48th among the states. This story corrects the length of the raises to 5 years, not 4. So basically, what they are doing is that the teachers are mad and angry because of the pay raise. That's only 1% over the first 5 years. And so what they did is they got so mad, so pissed off that they walked out, held a strike, and now apparently it passed. So I'm guessing that they're still going to get the pay raise, but not what they wanted. And here's the thing. like I said, what they need to do is disband the Department of Education at the federal level and give the Department of Education back to the local states. Have the states, local, individual states deal with education locally. Then disband the teachers' unions completely. And there's no need for teachers to be unionized. And this is the main reason why the teachers walked out and strike, because it's part of the whole teachers union. You know, if they didn't have the teachers union, then they wouldn't have strike. So get rid of the teachers union, and then after that, you will see a significant change in students. You will see a significant amount of change. But what do you guys think?
Well, generally, when you hear the word union, the automatic, I mean, to me, myself, when I hear the word union, I automatically think of the left. I mean, because it's usually the left, they're the ones that have these unions. And,
yeah,
they, I would not, I agree, get rid of the union because they're all part of the left. They are, so.
Yeah, and plus, you know, the thing about the unions is that they do more harm than good.
They do, yes. So there you go.
Amy, what do you think? I think Amy. Oh,
no, I'm here. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at something on
that's
my
all right.
phone. No, I was looking, and my friend posted this video of some kid on a bus, and they videotaped it. I guess the kid was sleeping, but he had like lice. I mean, like 500 of them just crawling everywhere. It's really gross.
Ew.
And I was reading the comments, and I was like, oh my God, sorry.
Oh, this is been around in the news real quick before we end this. The Formula One drivers, basically what they did, the Formula One division, and basically what Formula One is like NASCAR, but I think it's like in Britain. But what they did is they fired all their grid girls, I guess you call it. They fired them all because, you know, it's an insult to women and feminism and all that. Well, the grid girls came out and said that why are the feminists speaking for us? We actually like the job, and we do what we wanted to do. We chose the job ourselves because we love it. And now it's you know, it's gotten to the point where these faux feminists are, you know, making women lose their jobs, you know, because of the whole you know, anti-women everything. They're anti-men and they're anti-women.
Just crazy.
I mean, they obviously chose that job, so it's their business, not anybody else's.
Yeah, exactly.
They should just worry about themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah,
if people just mind their own business, I think the world would be a better place.
Exactly. You know, mind your own business, and if you wanna you know, complain and everything, complain to no one. Go home and complain and be quiet about it.
I guess they forget that, you know, we live in a free country and we're free to pick our jobs. So, you know, maybe they should go talk to China, and they don't have a choice. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I just figured I brought that up. So I think that's going to do it for here on this this episode of Not Mainstream. First one of February. And we got 3 more left. However, if you can't wait to see our good-looking faces, me and Henry, every Wednesday night right after the X-Files, we go live to discuss the latest episode of the X-Files. And next week is Kitten, episode 6, and it's midway through. We got 10 episodes. We got 5 more left. And if you want to see what we talked about this past Wednesday night on the X-Files, click the link in the description below and check that out. But on that note, We're going to end it here. See you here next week, February 9th, for another Not Mainstream. Good night, everybody. God bless
Good night.
America, and God bless President Donald J. Trump.